everyone, welcome back to Actual English. I'm Jennifer Clyde, as always. Thank you for joining me. It's time for lesson 80, and today let's talk about essentials. Of course, you may think of essential oils. That's not what we're going to be talking about today. We will be talking about the most important things in life. Of course, we talked about goals, happiness, things like that, but there are certain things that we must have in life. Things that we cannot live without. For example, there are essentials of life. Those are the things we need in order to survive, such as food, water, shelter, reproduction, of course. But the essentials in life may vary according to each and every individual. So you may have your own essentials. I may have different ones, but our essentials of life are the same. We need air to breathe. We need food to eat. We need water or liquids to drink, and we all need to reproduce, right? Anyhow, so think about those things that you want to have, those things that you cannot live without. I would have to say perhaps sharing with people, not just anyone, but sharing with loved ones, people that I really care for, is one of the most important things in life. So that would be one of my essentials in life. Okay, think about yours as we begin listening to today's Actual Talk conversation.
You know, Joanne, recently I heard this question, and I thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about. It's, what are the 5 things you cannot live without?
Well, isn't that obvious? You can't live without family. I have a boyfriend, so right now, my boyfriend.
Well, actually, those are people. We're talking about things.
Oh, right. So tangible things that
tangible
you can't.
things that you can't live without.
Okay, let me see. I obviously can't live without my laptop because I need that for work. The occasional manicure I get. You have no idea of the healing process.
You just get them done recently.
Yes, I have to have a manicure every 2 weeks.
Yeah, my wife loves those too, but I don't understand it.
I only get them because I know that if I don't, I'll splurge on more expensive items.
Okay.
Like designer bags. Talking about designer bags, I think once I get a designer bag I have my eye on, that will be a thing I can't live without.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting more expensive. So what are some things that you can't live without?
First and foremost would be my bicycle.
Oh, you've been talking about this
so
much, avid cyclist.
I love to ride my bicycle. And beyond that, my everyday jacket. I have this leather jacket I love to wear.
I've never seen you wear it.
Well, it was summer. My cell phone, obviously, and my laptop because I have to do work. Because, you know, it's sad that we're so reliant on technology these days, but in some ways it's good too.
You should turn your cell phone off for a week. I tried that. First week was stressful. After that, bliss.
Really? Yeah, I did that once when I was running through the Sahara Desert, and it was really nice to be away from technology. I think we should just go live in the woods.
That's an idea.
Yeah, no things.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's topic is once again essentials. Essentials in life, that is, not of life. The things that are absolutely necessary. The things we cannot live without. So what are the essentials in your life? What would you say? A lot of people, I think, would probably say cell phones. Can you live without your cell phone? If you answered no, that would be an essential. Now, Peter and Joanne both mentioned laptops. Joanne, being a girl, she mentioned something about designer bags, even getting a manicure every once in a while, or every 2 weeks, was it? Peter mentioned something about his bike. He said he cannot live without his bike, and he even mentioned something about a favorite jacket of his. So let's check out all the information together, line by line. Here's today's actual talk, once again between Peter and Joanne. Peter begins by saying, you know, Joanne, what are the 5 things you cannot live without? Now, of course, you can say can't live without. But why is it not can't and why is it cannot? You can use either. You can say, What are the 5 things you can't live without? Of course, but sometimes if you want to emphasize, if you want to stress can't, often, yeah, that's what we say, cannot, cannot. Say it strongly. What are the 5 things you cannot live without with? Okay, like that. Now, did I say live without with? Live without, sorry. And then Joanne says, well, isn't that obvious? Do I have to tell you? It's pretty obvious. It's given. You can't live without family. Good point made, of course. Family is very important. I can't live without family. And then she says, I have a boyfriend. She's talking about her current boyfriend. So right now, my boyfriend. So she has mentioned 2 things, or actually people. So what does Peter say? He says, oh, well, actually, those are people. We're talking about things and not people. What are the 5 things you cannot live without with? So now Joanne gets the question. Oh, right. She understands. So tangible things, she says. Things. We know we're talking about stuff, objects, not people. Things, right? But what is tangible? If you say that something is tangible, you are meaning that it is real. It is not fake. It exists. You can touch it, okay? So it physically exists, you can touch it, and it's real. It's not imaginary. So she says, oh, tangible things, real things. Of course, tangible things that you can't live without. So he makes sure that she understands his question. All right, Joanne says, okay, let me see. Now she thinks for a while and then says, I obviously can't live without. That's our pattern for today. We'll practice it later on. Now she says, my laptop. And then she gives a reason. Because I need that for work. Okay, she needs her laptop. Number 1, here we go. The occasional manicure I get. That's number 2, okay? Occasional meaning not something that is done frequently, not something that is done on a regular basis, but off and on, sometimes, occasional. So the occasional manicure I get, boom, number 2, okay? And then she says, I have to have a manicure every 2 weeks. Have to have means what? Must. I cannot go without it, okay? I have to have a manicure every 2 weeks. So these are 2 things that she's mentioned, okay? Now Peter says, yeah, my wife loves those too. Those meaning manicures, but I don't understand it. Although we are not on the topic of, I guess, taking care of our hands or getting a manicure or pedicure, but just in case, you may already know, but a manicure is what? Usually, a manicure can be a combination of both hands and feet. When you get your hands done and your feet done, get nail polish, right? But usually, if it's separated, when you get your hands done, that's called a manicure. When you go to get your toenails done, that's called a pedicure. So keep that in mind. Anyhow, Peter mentions something about his wife, how she also loves those, meaning manicures, getting manicures as well. And since he's a guy, he doesn't understand. Well, Joanne says, I only get them because I know that if I don't, I will. I'll splurge on more expensive items like designer bags. Okay, let's take a look at the word splurge here. This is a word we went over a long time ago, to splurge, splurge. It's a verb, okay? And the meaning or the definition of this word is to spend lots of money on something. Another word is binge. Remember we talked about binge eating? Just eating a whole lot of food very quickly all of a sudden. That's binge eating. You can also binge shop, meaning go crazy shopping, spend lots of money buying things. So It means the same thing. She says, if I don't get a manicure every once in a while, I know that I will splurge on more expensive items. I know I will go crazy spending money. I know I will go crazy shopping and buying more expensive items such as designer bags. Talking about designer bags, I think once I get the designer bag, meaning once I purchase it, once I buy the designer bag that I have my eye on. Have one's eye on something. This is also a pattern. It means what? You can keep an eye on something or somebody. You can also have an eye on something. It means to watch something very closely. But in this case, since she's talking about a designer bag that she has her eye on, it means she's seen the bag and she's always wanted the bag. She's hoping to buy it, okay? And then she says that, meaning the designer bag, will be a thing I can't live without, okay? Now Peter understands. He says, okay. Now, so what are some things that you cannot live without? Once again, she is asking the same question back to Peter, so stress the you. What are some things that you cannot live without? You can't live without. Peter says, first and foremost. What does this mean? First and foremost. Number one, and most importantly. It means first of all. Most importantly, okay? He's saying it would be my bicycle. So for Peter, yeah, it's his bicycle. He can't live without his bicycle. Now he's talking about his bike all the time, right? And then he says, I love to ride my bicycle. And beyond that, my everyday jacket. So this would be item number 2 for Peter. Number 1 was his bike. He cannot live without it. And number 2 is his everyday jacket. He cannot live without the jacket. But why is it everyday jacket? Now this means that it is not something too fancy. It's something you can throw on almost every day. Perhaps a casual jacket. It can also mean that it is his favorite jacket, a jacket he would wear almost every day. And then he says, I have this leather jacket I love to wear. And of course, Joanne says, I've never seen you wear it. Of course, because it was summer. And my cell phone, boom, number 3. This is for Peter, okay? Obviously. All right, so for Peter, we've got 3 items that he cannot live without. Number 1, his bike. Number 2, his everyday leather jacket. And number 3, his cell phone. Now, what else? And my laptop. He's got lots of items. This is item number 4. Why? Because I have to work, just like Joanne. Okay? Now, Joanne says you should turn your cell phone off for a week. Have you tried doing that? Turn your cell phone off for a week. I tried that. That meaning turning off my cell phone. The first week was stressful. After that, bliss. So she's saying, I tried turning my cell phone off for 1 week. I did not turn on my cell phone for 1 week. And the first week, wow, it was terrible. It was horrible. It was stressful. But then again, after that, she says, it was bliss. What is bliss? It's like heaven. It's like peace. There's nothing better than bliss. It's paradise. So bliss. She's saying, wow, it actually was nice to turn off my cell phone. Now Peter says, really? Yeah, I did that once. Okay, he's talking about turning off his cell phone. When? When I was running through the Sahara Desert. And it was really nice to be away from, to be far away from, to be disconnected, right, from technology. I think we should just go live in the woods, okay? The reason I changed the color for this and chose that for one of our vocab words is because the word woods, the woods often, W-O-O-D, wood, of course. Many things are made of wood. This frame is actually made of wood, okay? We're talking about the material. But if we say the woods with an S, we're we're talking about a tree-filled area, like the forest, for example. So he's saying, yeah, you know, we should, at least once in our lives, just get away or be away, or nice to be away from technology and just live in the woods. And of course, Joanne seems to agree. She says, that's an idea. I think that about does it for today's Actual Talk Conversation. There's some more information in the Actual Talk Conversation, so have a listen one more time.
You know, Joanne, recently I heard this question, and I thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about. It's, what are the 5 things you cannot live without?
Well, isn't that obvious? You can't live without family. I have a boyfriend, so right now, my boyfriend.
Well, actually, those are people. We're talking about things.
Oh, right. So tangible things that
tangible
you can't.
things that you can't live without.
Okay, let me see. I obviously can't live without my laptop because I need that for work. The occasional manicure I get. You have no idea of the healing process.
Oh, you just get them done recently.
Yes, I have to have a manicure every 2 weeks.
Yeah, my wife loves those too, but I don't understand it.
I only get them because I know that if I don't, I'll splurge on more expensive items.
Okay.
Like designer bags. Talking about designer bags, I think once I get a designer bag I have my eye on, that will be a thing I can't live without.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting more expensive. So what are some things that you can't live without?
First and foremost would be my bicycle.
Oh, you've been talking about this so much, avid cyclist.
Yeah, I love to ride my bicycle. And what beyond that, my everyday jacket. I have this leather jacket I love to wear.
I've never seen you wear it.
Well, it was summer. And my cell phone, obviously, and my laptop because I have to do work. Because, you know, it's sad that we're so reliant on technology these days, but in some ways it's good too.
You should turn your cell phone off for a week. I tried that. First week was stressful. After that, bliss.
Really? Yeah, I did that once when I was running through the Sahara Desert, and it was really nice to be away from technology. I think we should just go live in the woods.
That's an idea.
Yeah, no things.
All right then, are you now ready for actual expressions? Let's begin with 5 vocab words from today's Actual Talk Conversation. I hope you remember each and every one of them. Well, test your memory. See how much you remember, all right? What about tangible? What was the definition of tangible? Okay, tangible means that it's real. You can touch it, right? Okay, touch, it exists. It physically exists. It is real. It is not imaginary. So some synonyms are real, actual, okay? Tangible. What about splurge? To splurge, to indulge in something and really find pleasure in doing something. Oftentimes you may spend a lot of money. You may even eat lots as well. As I mentioned earlier, a synonym is to binge. Binge. First and foremost was what? It's almost always used together. First and foremost. First and foremost. If you want to stress that something is very important, if something is on the top of your list, if it's priority number 1, you can say first and foremost. It means first of all, but the most important thing would probably be a closer definition. First and foremost means the most important thing. Number 1, okay? What about bliss, as I mentioned? Yeah, after switching your phone off for about a week, the first week could be stressful, but after that, you will feel so free. It'll be bliss. It'll be paradise or even complete happiness. Bliss, happiness, paradise. It's really good. What about woods, as I mentioned? Often is used with the woods with an S. We're talking about forests, outdoors, the wilderness. We're not talking about the material wood, but we're actually talking about areas, forests filled with trees and plants. Okay, let's move on to some patterns. We've got 2 for you today. The first one is can or can't live without, and then essentials. Okay, let's try it out. Believe it or not, 믿거나 말거나. Believe it or not, I can live without my cell phone. It's can. Believe it or not, I can live without my cell phone or my phone. Because a lot of people say they cannot live without their phones. But, well, I would tell you, believe it or not, I can live without my phone. Or I think I can live without my phone. The next one, he said that he cannot live a day. 하루도 못 버틴다. He said that he cannot live a day without me. This is something you can say to someone you really, really care for. Honey, I cannot live a day without you. You're so special to me. Anyhow, you could say that, right? So one more time. He said that he cannot live a day without me. Do you remember? I used cannot in place of can't to stress this, to emphasize it, okay? To give it a stronger meaning. Okay, here we've got one more. The editor can't live without his thumb drive. What is a thumb drive? What is a thumb? A thumb is one of our fingers. 엄지손가락, right? Thumb drive. It's just another word for USB flash drive or flash memory. I think in Korean we say memory card, memory chip, something like that. But please keep in mind you can either call it a thumb drive or a flash drive or a flash memory. Okay? Try using these words. Moving on. Here, have one's eye on something. Very similar to keep one's eye on something. He's had his eye on a car for a while and he's saving up, meaning saving money to buy it. This means he has been watching that car. He's been hoping to buy that car. He has had his eye on a car for a while and he's saving up. He's saving money to buy it. Let's try it one more. I have my eye on a purse. On something, okay? Have an eye on something. I hope no one gets it before I do. Also means I have an eye on a purse. I'm hoping to buy it. I will buy it. And I hope that nobody goes to buy it before I go there to buy it. Okay, that is a wrap for today's actual expressions. Great job.
Five things I cannot live without. First of all, I know it's not a thing, but I will have to say my family and friends, because I think without them I would be just crazy right now, so I need them in my life. Second, I'll say my handphone and my computer. I need to be in touch with my friends and my family, and I cannot live without internet, so I need that in my life. I need to be able to see my dramas and upload my blog or whatever. Also, I cannot live without music. I just can't, like, if I'm walking on the street, I need music. If I'm at my house, I'll be listening to music. If I'm at the gym, I'll be listening to music too. So I think life would be sad if I didn't have that. Number 4, I'll say food. And if I have to be specific, chocolate. I need always like dessert or something sweet after eating, otherwise my life is not complete. And number 5, tea maybe. I'm a huge tea drinker, so if that counts. Family, handphone, music, chocolate, and tea.
Okay, that was Patricia's actual story, and she's told us many things that she cannot live without. Let's begin. It's nice that she started with first of all, and then she goes on to number 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? First of all, or first and foremost, I will have to say my family and friends. I cannot live without my family and friends. Let's now move on to tangible things. Second, I'd say my cell phone and my computer. Okay, these are a few more things she can't live without. Once again, they are tangible things. And I also cannot live without the internet. Can you live without the internet? Yes, no? Well, try answering. Can you live without the internet? I cannot live without the internet. Let's move on. At number 4, I'd say food. And to be specific, chocolate. Specific meaning to give you details, to tell you exactly what it is. She says chocolate. I always need dessert or something sweet after eating. So chocolate is something that she cannot live without with. And what about at number 5, tea, maybe. Okay, this is also all right. Even if you're not absolutely sure, you can think, and if you want to add some more things, you can say, number 5, tea, maybe. Yeah, could be possible. I might not be able to live without tea. That's something you can add as well. So she says, and at number 5, tea, maybe. I am a huge, meaning a very big, tea drinker. A huge tea drinker would not exactly be a huge person. It means that she loves to drink tea. She really enjoys drinking tea. You can say, I am a huge tea drinker. Okay, hope you enjoyed today's actual story, and thanks to Patricia one more time.
5 things I cannot live without. First of all, I know it's not a thing, but I will have to say my family and friends, because I think without them I would be just crazy right now, so I need them in my life. Second, I'll say my handphone and my computer. I need to be in touch with my friends and my family, and I cannot live without internet, so I need that in my life. I need to be able to see my dramas and upload my blog or whatever. Also, I cannot live without music. I just can't, like, if I'm walking on the street, I need music. If I'm at my house, I'll be listening to music. If I'm at the gym, I'll be listening to music too. So I think life would be sad if I didn't have that. Number 4, I'll say food. And if I have to be specific, chocolate. I need always like dessert or something sweet after eating. Otherwise, my life is not complete. And number 5, tea, maybe. I'm a huge tea drinker, so if that counts. Family, handphone, music, chocolate, and tea.
Now, I do want to say job well done to all of you, and thanks for tuning in to every single one of our lessons. We talked about goals in life, essentials, and so on and so forth, including stress as well. Now, I hope you learned lots through today's lesson as well. As I always say, the next time you happen to have the opportunity to talk about some topic, any topic related to today's topic, being essentials, I hope you have fun. Try experimenting with new expressions and new phrases and new patterns. It'll be fun. Next time I'll be joining you with this topic. We all need to conserve energy, right? Energy conservation is very important, so we're going to move on to that category. This was actually not exactly, but similar topics were requested by a few of our listeners, so I've added this. Hope you enjoy it. So once again, next time, let's talk about conserving energy, saving energy. Come to our homepage, everyone. Come to www.ebse.co.kr and look for Actual English with Jennifer. Come by to say hello. Even better, post up some topic requests. Okay, that is all for today, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you again next time. Until then, thank you and bye-bye.